Welcome back to another video with the GX. We just got something super exciting in the mail today. Let me show you. In this box, we have a tune for the GX. As some of you may know, the GX has tons of problem with gear hunting, sluggish, and just overall feeling like the engine's not alive. This tune is going to give us more low to mid-range power, better throttle response, and better MPGs. Also, gear hunting and shifting. This is how the Lexus currently sits right now. The tires that we are running are 285/75/17, so 34 by 11.5, and we are on a 3-inch Dobinson's lift. And this is an 03 to 04, so instead of just going in and getting it flashed, we have to swap the whole ECU. It's pretty easy to do as well. I'm gonna show you guys completely what to do, but the whole ECU is located right behind this, so we just need to take apart some things in here and we can get it swapped right out. I'm gonna be giving a very thorough review after the tune, first impressions, and then I have a trip coming up actually today. I'm leaving for it, and then I'll give a good review after that, because we're gonna be driving probably about 500 to 1,000 miles in this thing in the next couple days. We're gonna get right into it and start removing our glove box area. First things first, we need to disconnect our negative terminal from our battery to make sure there's no hiccups when we're doing this. Take out your floor mats if you have any. First thing we're gonna do is take this Phillips head out under the glove box. And then you just take this out. That just comes out, and then you're gonna need to disconnect all of these as well. Next up, we gotta take off this screw, this one, and this one. There's 3 Phillips along the top of this. Take off your trim right here as well. There is 2 more Phillips to take out down here, and your whole glove box should come out, and then there will be some wire connectors you have to take off as well. Now our glove box should come out, and then there's that wire connector right there as well. Also, once again, this is just for 03 and 04s, the K lines. For the newer ones, you can just do an ECU flash, which is a little bit easier, but for my sake, we gotta take all this apart. That is our ECU back there. Now we just have to take off a couple more things and we can get to it. We're gonna take off this now and also pry this up so we can take this off completely. There's just one little rivet screw back here. That's off, and then pried this up a tiny bit to get it off, but now we have full access to the ECU. First, I'm going to start by disconnecting all the wiring to the ECU, and with that I'm just going to use a long flat head and pry the clips and then pull them out. Everything is disconnected from our ECU. Now we have to take off these 2 10mm bolts right here. For that, I'm just using a 10mm with a extension on it. There's also one more bolt to take off back here. Now it should be free. I'm gonna disconnect these 3 plugs to the right on that yellow box as well, because it's connected to my ECU. With these 3 disconnected, should be able to finagle this out. Just like that, our stock ECU is out of the car. Now we're gonna swap over all of these parts to this one. Everything is swapped over, and we are good to put our new ECU back inside. Now I'm gonna go ahead and snug up some of the bolts that we took off, and then we'll plug in everything that we took out. This might be the quickest install I've ever done. It's not even been like 15-20 minutes, and we already have the new ECU in. Now we just gotta snug up the bolts and get all of our plastic pieces back into place. Everything's back together. Let's put on the negative terminal and hope this thing doesn't blow up. Drum roll, please. Let's start this thing up. She starts, she runs. I think the next thing to do is go for a test drive. Give you guys my first impressions of the Tune. See if I notice anything right off the bat. First reaction. We're about to get on the gas. Let's see if we notice anything. Whoa. Seems to be faster off the line, as in like no lag. More linear torque, if that makes sense. I'm gonna drive around for a little bit and then give you guys a better first impression. I don't wanna say anything too soon because it might just be placebo effect, all that good stuff. But right away, going up the mountains feels a lot better. It doesn't feel like the car's struggling. And then I can notice, like from a stoplight and then going, it's a lot more, there's a lot more torque there than there was before. And I did some downshifting and it felt good. It was nice and smooth and quick. But for the next part of the review, I'm gonna wait probably like a week or so, get a good test and feel for the actual Tune and car itself. I'm gonna be doing lots of driving in the mountains, going more west. I will see you guys in the next clip. Welcome back. It's probably a month to month and a half since we filmed that last clip, and we've probably put on 2,000 to 3,000 miles on the GX with the Tune on. I'm gonna go over this in 3 different categories: ease of installation, performance, and value that it provides if it outweighs the cost. Let's just say for ease of installation, pretty easy. I'd say 9 out of 10. Took me probably 15 minutes. Really straightforward. You just take out the ECU, take off the negative battery, and put it back in. What could have made it easier is getting a 05 Plus GX where you just get it flashed. Next, performance. My expectations going into this were it was gonna fix my gear hunting issues completely, but I was wrong. It still gear hunts, but it's not as bad as it was. With the Tune, I've noticed it likes to hold the gear for longer when going up hills. So for example, with the stock GX ECU, it used to go up hills, drop all the way down to 4th, then 3rd, and it would just keep on going back and forth between all gears. With the Tune, I will say it will drop down into 4th and try to hold it. It will hold it for longer instead of shifting back into 5th. And same with 3rd, it will take longer to shift back into 4th and so on. This definitely helps up the hills because it will just stay in the gear and chug. Honestly, I've noticed that the gas mileage does not get impacted as bad as it was with the stock ECU going up hills. I live in Colorado, so every time I drive, I'm basically going up a hill. I've took this thing through Independence Pass, Eisenhower Pass, Monarch Pass, a bunch of different high mountain passes, and it's done amazing. Another aspect that I've seen it shine is going downhill. This might be the Tune, I'm pretty sure it is the Tune, but when going down hills and when shifting down gears, when going down these mountain passes, it likes to hold like 50 miles per hour to say. Depends on what gear you're in, but I don't have to use the brake, which is super nice. Could just be all the weight I have on this thing and all that, tires, but I don't remember it doing that before I had the Tune. So gas mileage, if I'm driving around highway and city, I can probably get 16.2 miles per gallon on the computer. I don't know if that's true, but on these trips, say I'm going to Denver to Telluride, for example, all mountains throughout that drive, I could get 300 miles plus, probably 300 to 320, which is pretty good on 34s. So overall performance rating, I'd probably give it a 6 or 7 out of 10. I love it, but my expectations going into it were much higher, but I'm still very happy with how it works. And then value. So I believe I paid about $400 for this. Originally you pay $600, and then once you send your ECU back, you get $200 sent back to you for the core. Right now, short term, I'd say I like the value. $400 for a Tune is pretty on the low end, to be honest. Coming from sport cars, Tunes were a lot more expensive than $400, especially if you got different maps and all that good stuff. So with this, paying $400 up front and that's all you need, it's not bad at all compared to other tuning experiences I've had. This might change in the long term. I might like it more. I still only had it for 2,000-3,000 miles, which is a decent amount, but as of right now, I think it provides good value for what you buy and what you get. As for shifting, linear throttle, and torque experiences, I like to say I've noticed a little bit, but I'm on 34s, so it's just gonna feel sluggish no matter what. I feel like it's definitely helped, but I'm not driving this thing like a race car, so I'm driving it like a grandma most of the time. Shifting has, I think, improved. It's super smooth, even when downshifting, and if I have to shift in third on the highway or fourth, it's super smooth. It doesn't jolt or anything like that. So I'm very pleased with that. But overall, I'm happy I got the tune. On my last GX, I did not have a tune, and it was an 07. I feel like if you got the tune on the 05 Plus, it would be so much better because you have an extra, I think it's 40 horsepower. And I think that 40 horsepower plus the tune could make a major difference for you. But later down the road, I am going to get re-geared. So that is still in the question. But for right now, I'm very happy with how it sits. But that's gonna wrap up this video. Please let me know if you guys wanna see anything on the GX. I have a bunch of stuff planned that will be coming to you soon. If you like these wheels right here that you see, check out 1552.com. If you want 10% off, which I don't see why you wouldn't, you can use my code Jack Foster for 10% off your entire order on some nice wheels. Same with the aux beam lights. Those boys right there. Use my code 15% off, saving you guys some money. But please let me know if you want any kind of videos, any off-road trails you want me to hit. If you decide to get this tune, drop down in the comments if I persuaded you. But I like it. My expectations were high going into it, and they did not meet my expectations, but I soon after realized that my expectations were set really high, and I like it. So with that being said, do the 3 things that I always say to do, because a lot of you guys are not subscribed to the videos. Hit the bell, drive safe, we'll see you in the next video.